Good evening, class 11. Today we will continue the chapter curriculum. We are at the end of this chapter. As I have told you that the chapter is not so big, only definition, characteristics, and what are the principles of curriculum construction we will discuss. So, some factors. Now, as I have told you that the curriculum is mainly dependent on experience, but still we cannot deny that the importance of curriculum in formal system of education, isn't it, where you are learning according to your syllabus. So when syllabus or curriculum is formed, some factors we have to keep it in mind, or there should be an organization, or there must be some experienced person, as I have explained you in the previous day when I was discussing about the characteristics, that there are some factors which we must keep it in mind. Okay, now in formal system of education, where we are discussing about school, college, university, like that, over there you are following certain syllabus, and you are knowing that yes, in this year we have to read this much, and we have to give exam, and there are certain rules and regulations. So when we are constructing the curriculum, there must be some principles before we think of making the curriculum. So today we will discuss about that. See, this can come for 6 to 8 marks question. What is curriculum and what are the principle of curriculum construction? See, writing everything in board is not possible. In this context, I must mention you something, that in your book you will also get the same points, but each points they are over in your book. You will see 3 to 4 pages are discussed the same points, so it has become more or less 12 to 13 page of your book. So it is not possible for you to read. I can understand. So I will make you a short and precise answer. You will get it in PDF. Please, it's a request to you. In this case, you do not follow your book. Your book is having the same points, but they are discussed in a huge and detailed manner. That is not possible for you to read, and that is not possible for me to by heart as well. So it is better to know the main fact, to understand what are the points, and you write it in your own language. So I will give you over here, I have given 4 points, and in the PDF you will get the detailed answer. Let's start. First is purpose of education. Now see, while constructing curriculum, you have to think that what is the main purpose of education. So the while the constructor will form the curriculum constructor will form it. They will think first and foremost, think what about the progress of the society, whether the information which are being provided to the students, they are helping the students to progress themselves, to become progressive, and whether the syllabus or the content is changing according to the change of the society. As I have told you, when I was discussing in the last day, I was discussing about the characteristics of curriculum construction. Over there I have told you that it is a very important characteristics of curriculum, that it should change its nature or its way of presentation or the subject matter, the content, according to the change of the society. So first point is that what is the purpose of education. It is not stagnant. Stagnant means it's not stuck in a particular point, or every day, every moment it is changing. So while constructing the curriculum, first and foremost thing what we have to keep it in mind, the purpose of education, that is whether it is developing in nature or it is changing according to the change of the society. Second thing, what along with change and development, another 3 or 4 things we have to keep it in mind while in this staying in this century. It is a child centric education system, we all know. So we have to keep it in mind, the child's wish, will, its mind, its capacity, everything, isn't it? So understanding the need of the child is also equally important. So that is we are discussing in the second point, need and capacity of the child. See, while we are discussing everything centering the student, you are getting your opportunity to choose the subject, you are getting scope to talk, you are getting scope to speak out, isn't it? Everything is centered around yourself. So we, the teachers and the curriculum constructor, will keep it in mind that whether the syllabus which we are going to make or the curriculum which is going to be produced in front of the student, they are according to the need and capacity of the child or not. Suppose sometimes I can say that yes, that is my beyond of my capacity, means that cannot be done by me, I cannot do that. So I must know my need and capacity, and I must understand that what can I do and what I can't do. So depending on that, while I am the child, the constructor will think about me that whether what syllabus or curriculum I am framing, that is suitable for the particular age or not. It is also very important. Now see, in here when I will discuss in the when you will get the PDF, you will see that here the need and capacity of the students, two things I have written. One is need, another one is capacity. Why? Because your capacity and a 2-year child's capacity is not the same. Maybe he is naughtier than you, but you are not less, isn't it? But the same is, jokes apart, the thing is, capacity is something. Why I am discussing about capacity? Because the thing which you can understand, it is not possible for a child to understand the same meaning, isn't it? The way I am explaining you, you will understand, but the 2 years baby or the 5 years baby will not understand the same language or the same topic. So depending on the need, because what do you need and what a child needs is totally different, isn't it? Your need, your demand, your wish and will, everything will change according to the change of your age and maturity. So depending on the age and the maturity of the student, those who are belonging to class 5 or 6, they will not understand the syllabus of class 12. The student those who are in class 12 or in graduation, they are doing graduation, the syllabus of class 5 and 6 is not suitable for them. So depending on the age, maturity and the mind of the child, the curriculum constructor should keep it in mind that either the syllabus which is provided to them is suitable for them, for their age, and whether it is of his or her capacity or not. Next point, probable provisions. Yes, this is very important. Now see, as we know, we are talking about curriculum construction. Now curriculum cannot be conducted in a vacuum place, isn't it? In an open room, open space, you are sitting and your mind is going something here, you are looking at the sky, flying birds, your mind will be disturbed, isn't it? Open school system is there, but it's not means indisciplined, isn't it? There, over there also you have to pay some rules and regulations. So when you are constructing curriculum, you have to see that over there the provisions of or the facilities which are required for the syllabus to run is there or not. Means basic requirement, what I will tell, that there should be a school building, there should be classrooms, the classrooms should be airy, big windows and doors should be there so that air can pass on from here one place to the other. Another thing what very important is chalk and dust. So the main factor of school is the curriculum construction is that where we are constructing the curriculum and over there the amenities or the facilities are there or not. Suppose the science students, those who are reading science, they have to go to chemical lab. The biology students, they are going to biology lab. So if there is no system of lab in a school, then what will happen? what will occur? They will not get the practical classes, they will not understand the practical utility, how to use, what should be the amount. Though they are reading it through the book, they are not getting practical classes, isn't it? So before constructing the curriculum, we have to see, the curriculum constructor will see whether the facilities and amenities are there in the particular area, like village area and urban and rural area. If we consider, in rural areas you will not get so much amenities what you are going to get in a urban city, isn't it? In a country, in a city, you are not going to get the same facility what you are getting in city, and in contrast with the village. So before constructing the curriculum constructor much look after about the factors of probability or provisions, means whether they are getting the amenities and the features over there or not. Last is finance. Now bearing finance is a big deal, means running a school is not so easy. Many expenditures are there. So when the curriculum will be constructed, the curriculum constructor will see that in that particular that place, whether that much finance can be contributed for that from through the administration. Maybe you are getting some help or not, you are getting some help, that is a separate issue. But enough financial provision over there is there means there you will get enough financial support or not, that will be seen, that will be looked after by the curriculum constructor. So these are the four major factors. Again I shall repeat: the purpose of education, whether it is developing in nature, changing according to the need of the society. Need and capacity, as I have told you, need means the need of the individual, and capacity will be decided according to the age. Probable provisions, whether the provisions are there or not. And finally the finance, whether the school can run throughout the year with keeping in mind the financial situation. So this is all about the chapter 7. Next day we will start with chapter 8, that is co-curricular activity. Now what are the questions, what are the probable questions I have discussed in this chapter? You will get everything in the PDF. Thank you.